What's good, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's just me, Jenny. So as you can see by the title, that I'm going to be doing a reaction to a video that was sent to me from my good friend Gigi. She also is a YouTuber, so go check out her page as told by Gigi. She sent me this video of a dad. I guess it's an interview with a dad and his daughter, and they're having a very intimate conversation. He was once incarcerated. Started watching it, but I didn't get to finish it, so I'm going to do a reaction video today. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Sorry, I'm going to be looking down because I have the thing in my hand.
When do you feel closest to me?
When I feel closest to you, when we went on vacation.
Oh, okay.
And we went canoeing and we went fishing.
We went canoeing and fishing? What about on a daily basis? What makes you feel close to me on a daily basis?
When you're off from work and I'm off from school.
Why is she making me want to cry already?
Ooh, who is your best friend and why?
Well, you're my best friend because you're always there for me when I need your help.
I know, baby.
Describe what you were like before we.
I'm sorry, but that just really got me like, fathers, you do not understand how important it is for your little girls to look up to you and to be, I mean, your sons too, but they always say your father is your first love as a girl. And for her to give that answer and start getting so emotional about it, like, it really means a lot to us as daughters. Like, we need our fathers. I'm sorry, that just got me.
How have I changed you?
When Daddy was younger, I wasn't someone who really had much consideration for other people. I didn't really care how other people felt. I didn't really care what my actions meant to other people. And then when I met you, when you came into my life, I realized for the first time that I had someone who depended on me 100%. And for someone who never really cared about what other people thought
why you daddies need to
or
be
what other
there.
people felt, I realized that I couldn't continue to think like that, and that I needed to grow up, and I needed to be a man, and I needed to do things that were gonna take care of you and mommy and myself. And basically, the person that I am today largely is because of you. And the father that I am today is also largely because of you.
I look at her, I'm gonna cry.
What?
So innocent.
What scares me the most is that I will look back on my life and feel like I wasn't a good parent.
There's nothing really to add to you to be a better parent. You're actually a great parent.
Look, she's so mature. I don't even know how old she is, but.
My turn?
Mm-hmm. Daddy trying to hold it in. I could tell he went a fuss.
What makes you the most proud of me?
Wait, what makes me most proud of you is when the judge realized that you changed and then you got out of jail.
So I'm going to pause it right there. Oh, this is heavy. This totally feels like, I don't think I created that dialogue in the book with Riley and her dad. All right, I'm just going to put it as a spoiler alert for those of you who did not read the book. Maybe you not want to watch this part. But for those of you that did read, I didn't create a dialogue. I noticed, like, listening to her talk to her dad. Riley's father got out of jail and they kind of just jumped back in the swing of things. And then it was like no questions asked. It was just like she was just happy to have him home. We kind of know what she was feeling like, the neglect and not having her parents there for her and her dad. She loved her dad to death. As you can see, this little girl, she loves her father so much. Like, it doesn't matter to her. Oh, God. I'm getting emotional. I don't like to cry. It didn't... Sorry, I hate crying. Her father going to jail, like, that doesn't matter to her. Society might look at him as a criminal or ex-con or whatever the fact, but to her, he's just her dad. And she loves him no matter what. You can see, by her response and what she's telling him and how emotional she's being. Like, that's her best friend. It doesn't matter what he did to get put in jail. But you can tell it hurts that he wasn't there. She's happy to have him home. And in the story, I feel like, Riley was just happy to have him home. She didn't care about what her dad does or what put him there. It was just like, I have my dad. I have my dad here. And that was all that mattered to her. I'm going to finish.
So I already asked you this question. When was the time you were the proudest of me? But I want to say that the day that I got out of jail, the immigration detention, that is also the day that I'm the most proud of you. Because we as a family, and especially your mother, went through a very tough time. And we had to live our life in a way that you weren't used to, your mother wasn't used to, your sister wasn't used to, and I wasn't used to. But we got through it, and the day that the judge decided to let me go, and I saw you downstairs after they had released me, I realized that you were way stronger than I thought you were.
I can tell.
Because you came through that and you didn't let it change you.
I can tell from her age. I mean,
if you can go back to being me, to being my age, what advice would you give yourself?
If I could go back to being your age, the advice that I would tell myself is to choose my friends wisely, to not let other people dictate my actions,
because it's going to lead you down a path
to love my
that
family,
you ain't going to expect.
and to know that there are people who love me and who care for me, and that my actions and my choices are gonna not only impact me, but also.
And I got to stop it right there again, because so many people do not realize, a lot of people think that their actions don't have consequences, or they know that it has consequences, but they selfishly only think of themselves. Like, yeah, okay, I'll go to jail, whatever, I could take that. Or, I might get killed out here for doing whatever, I could take it. But you know what? You're not thinking about how that, I almost cursed. You're not thinking how that affects your family. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you go to jail and you don't care. A lot of people don't care about their lives. Like, oh, I'll die. I'm ready to die. It don't matter to me. I don't care what happens to me. But what about how your mother feels? What about how your father feels? How your sister, how your brother, how your kids? Like, you don't think about that. Yeah, as a kid, when you live in carefree. You don't think about any of that stuff. But you become an adult, and at some point you have to realize, like, hey, what I'm doing, that's going to affect everybody around me, not just me. Okay, let me go back to the video.
So where do you see, when you reach daddy's age, where do you see yourself?
Well, I see myself in my dad's shoes.
What you mean by that?
And what it would be like to be a parent and care for your children.
You see what I'm saying? Oh, wait, it's almost over. Okay. You see what I'm saying? She said, she threw me off when she said, in my dad's shoes. I'm going to say, what you mean? Your dad went to jail. But she said, I want to be a parent that cares about her children. That little girl, it doesn't matter that. I mean, it does, but she just sees her dad. Like, that's it. Not what daddy did. The fact that daddy went to jail. She just sees her dad. He's still her hero. He's still her best friend. That is very obvious. So, thank you, Gigi, for sending that to me, first and foremost. very, very interesting. Very heartfelt. I felt that 100%. Like, she made me want to cry. It's not what I thought it was gonna be, but like, I thought it was gonna be a lot of talk about how she felt, with his absence of him being in jail. But I love that they didn't focus on that. They just focused on their relationship and how she sees her dad as her dad. They didn't focus on, like, well, how did you feel when daddy was in jail? Da da da. They didn't focus on that. So I love that they was just, basically trying to create the bond between the two of them. Like, make up for lost time. That little girl don't care about what he did. She just want her daddy in her life. And I pray that, he sees that and does the right thing by his family and does not end up back in jail, as in the story. Her father name is Slim. In my book, Riley's father name is Slim. He kept going back and forth. And he knew, like, my family's suffering. My family's going through this, they're going through that. But it didn't stop him. He kept making his money and doing what he was doing to end up in jail. And that was it. It didn't mean he didn't love his kids, his wife. It's just some people are just selfish, or they just get so caught up in things that they can't get themselves out of. And your family suffers too. Your family suffers too. So that was an amazing connection to the book. Like I said, it kind of gave me some inspiration for the next one. Maybe it's time that Riley and Slim have that dialogue, And her family is one of those things like, hey, we got past it. We ain't got to keep talking about it. Let's move on. Keep on doing what we're doing, and that's it. But sometimes you need to have that conversation. You need to have that conversation. You need to have that dialogue to open up and really get to the root of things, because without that dialogue, nothing's going to change. Change doesn't come from sweeping under the rug. It doesn't. You have to talk about things sometime. In the interview and in the book, their fathers missed out a chunk of their lives. They wasn't there because they were incarcerated, both in that interview and in my book, where Riley's dad was in and out of jail. So, they were absentee fathers. They wasn't really there. Doesn't mean they love their kids any less. The kids still love their parents. They just wanted their parent home, And it hurts. It hurts. And it makes me think, like, I grew up, I had my dad, but, sorry. I grew up with my father, but we didn't have that father and daughter relationship. And sometimes it makes me think, is it worse to just not have your father there at all? Or to have your father there, but not have that father and daughter relationship that you should have? I can tell that little girl, even though her dad was in jail, he still has that connection with his daughter, his baby girl. He has that connection. Same thing in the book. Riley and Slim, they still had that bond, that father and daughter bond, because they say that is your first love, is your father. Your father, I believe, they create the foundation for what you're going to look for in a future husband or boyfriend or whatever. They always say you marry your father. And I believe in that. I really do. And if you don't have your father there to tell you or to even show you the right from the wrong, shows you what to accept from a man and what not to accept from a man. How he treats your mother, how he treats you. Are you daddy's little princess? Are you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that really creates that foundation for you when you're looking for your future husband or boyfriend or whatever. You know, when you don't have a father there to show you how a woman should be treated, you end up dating the wrong thing. And you could end up, not all the time, but sometimes you end up in a relationship where you're getting abused, physically, mentally, verbally, whatever. And you think that it's okay because you don't have no one around you to tell you that it's not okay. Or if you grew up with a father doing those things and he don't know how to treat his daughter or his wife or his, girlfriend, whatever, you think that that stuff is okay, and it's not. So I urge you guys, as fathers, if you're a father, soon to be father, want to be a father, you gotta love your daughters, man. You gotta love your daughters. Like I said, I know my dad loves me. I love him as well. But it took for me as an adult to create a better bond with us. Like I said, as a baby, for what I can remember, it was great, But something changed. I don't know if I'm ready to share that yet, but he had struggles, and it affected our relationship. And when you don't see, my mom is my everything. Like, no disrespect, Daddy, but my mom is like a superwoman to me. My queen, my everything. I say it all the time. My twins look just like me. She's my everything, and I watched that woman bust her ass. I'm gonna curse, I'm sorry, for her family, and do everything she could for her family to make sure we had a roof over our head, food in our stomach, everything. It wasn't easy, and it was sometimes a struggle with a lot of things, but she never let it break her. Maybe behind closed doors, I'm sure she probably had times where she broke down in tears, like, how I'm going to get through this, but I never saw it. I only saw strength with her. And she's my everything. And it forced me to, at one point in my life, take sides with my parents. When you have parents that don't always get along, sometimes you feel forced to take a side, and I think I definitely was taking my mother's side, and I didn't respect my father the way I should as I got older, and that relationship just wasn't there for us. I didn't have that father-daughter bond that all little girls should have with their father. I'm not going to say most. All little girls should have with their dad. I didn't have that. So, it affected me with how I dealt with guys or in my relationship that I had. It affected me and how I think and how I look at a man. Absolutely. It was hard. It was very hard. And it hurts even to this day. But once we had that dialogue, like in the interview, I feel like we were better. And once he got better and my parents separated, I was able to make my own decision of what I thought of both of them. I didn't have to choose sides anymore. I now could separate the two, and it was like, okay, I could have my relationship with my dad, and I could have that relationship with my mom. And after that conversation that him and I had, it made us better, And I get to know my dad now. Like, we hang out, and I actually found out he's really funny. He's really funny, and sometimes he drives me nuts, but I love him, and I can say that to him now. And I even told him, like, when we had our conversation, like, do you realize I'm telling a lot, and I hope he doesn't get upset with me, but it's the truth. Like, I don't even call him daddy or dad or any of those things. And this is somebody who I lived with since birth. But because that relationship was never there, it feels weird to me to say. I'm working on it, but I can tell him I love you. Let's hang out. We have fun. And he's a good father now. And I'm just grateful for that bond, because I had to tell myself, like, life is too short to hold grudges and look at the past and say, well, you did this and you did that, and I don't, because I don't want to be at either one of my parents, because of, unfortunately, everybody's times come. And I don't want to be at their funeral like, oh my God, I wish I would have did this, or I wish I would have did that. I don't want that regret ever. You only get one. You only get one mama, one daddy, as I wrote in the book. Slim told Riley about her mother, you only get one at the end of the day. So, everybody's parents ain't perfect. And I'm not telling you all to just have this, because I don't know what your relationship status, I don't know what your parents or whatever you're going through. But just know you only get one. So take into consideration, and when they're gone out of this world, you don't want to have any regrets that you didn't at least try to create a relationship with your parents, no matter how bad it is. But yeah, that's my truth, and I love that interview, and we need to see more of that, because not enough fathers are stepping up to the plate. These younger generations, oh my God, I see some things. These young girls, the stuff that come out of their mouth, like, I'm not saying I was innocent growing up, but we got to do better. And dads, you got to step up to the plate. Love on your baby girls. If you're not with their mother, who cares? Do not let your relationship with that mother affect your relationship with your child. Your little girl needs you. So for whoever needs to hear that, please make the effort to be in your daughter's life. Don't just be there to be there. Talk to her. Take her places. Have that relationship. Be open-minded. If they want to come to you and talk about boys, I ain't trying to hear that. You don't need to be dating. Don't do that, because I went through that too. Well, it makes your kids want to rebel. They're not going to listen to you. So be open to it. If they're going to date, you might not be able to stop them, but let them know what they should expect in that relationship. Okay? Have that open dialogue. Like, listen, all right, you're going to be dating. Don't ever let a boy do this. Don't ever let a man disrespect. You got to have that dialogue with your daughters, papas, daddies, men. We got to do better. So, with that being said, that is a wrap for this video. Again, go to Amazon.com and get your copy now. Download it on your Kindle devices. I'm going to put all the links in below so you can click that link so you can get your copy. I promise you, it's such a good book. I'm working on something that might persuade some of you who haven't bought the book to want to buy the book. Again, I appreciate you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. And hit that bell so you can find out when I'm posting another video. Follow me on my social medias. All the information will be down below. Once again, thank you for watching, Jenny.